Hi, my name is Jake, and I am a bookish drummer. So for this video, I'm going to quickly run through some of my all-time favorite horror audiobooks. And for anyone watching this video wondering why there's no Stephen King mentioned on this horror audiobook video, don't worry, Stephen King will be getting his own audiobook episode because I've listened to a lot of his audiobooks and I feel it warrants a episode in and of itself. But anyway, enough of the preamble. Let's jump right into it. For this first book and series of books, it's kind of hard to pin down what genre it is exactly, but I think it best fits for my purposes in the horror genre. And I'm talking, of course, about I Am Not a Serial Killer by Dan Wells, and I'm talking, of course, about the whole John Cleaver series, narrated, of course, by one of my all-time favorite narrators, Kirby Hayborn. Kirby Hayborn does such a great job portraying the main character in a series. And pretty much when I think of the John Cleaver series and John Cleaver as the main character, Kirby Hayborn's voice plays such an integral part to that. And I love that there's 6 books in the series and Kirby Hayborn gets to narrate all of them. I hate when you have like a long series and you have different narrators doing all the different books. It's so much better when you've got one consistent narrator for the whole series. But anyway, yeah, Kirby Hayborn just does such a fantastic job with this series. And the next horror books I have to talk about are You and Hidden Bodies by Caroline Kepnes. And they're both narrated by, what's his name? Santino Fontana. He does such a great job portraying such a sociopathic stalker character. He just does a great job. And not only does he bring out the creepiness factor, he also brings out the humor in the character of Joe Goldberg, because these books are definitely black comedy. They are horror, but there's definitely comedic elements to them. And his line delivery is just so good, and it really brings the character of Joe Goldberg to life. And next month, I will be picking up You Love Me, and you know I'm going to be picking up the audiobook as well. And of course, I have to throw in a horror book by my all-time favorite author, George R. R. Martin, and that would be Fever Dream, which is brilliantly narrated by Ron Donacci. And for anyone who's watched Game of Thrones, that's the guy who played Roderick Cassell. And he does such a great job with the character voices. There's basically 4 main characters, and they each get their own distinctive voice, and that really helps in bringing the book to life for me. And not to mention that he just has a fantastic voice. Anyone who's interested, go listen to like a sample of this, and if you're not hooked, then I don't know what to tell you. These next 3 horror audiobooks are books that I would definitely consider putting in my top 20, and one of them would definitely be in my top 10. One of the craziest horror books I've ever read is Baby Teeth by Zoe Stage, and the audiobook is super good. And it's narrated by Gabra Zachman. And in the book, you get 2 perspectives. One is a mother who's trying to deal with a very sadistic, sociopathic little girl. And then the other perspective is that sadistic, sociopathic little girl who is just terrorizing her mom. And so the voice actress, the audiobook narrator, does a fantastic job both portraying the mother who's trying to deal with the kid and the kid just messing with the mom. She does such a great job. And this next horror book I want to talk about is something that I just read very recently, and I absolutely loved this book, and the audiobook is a big reason why, and that would be Imaginary Friend by Stephen Chbosky. And it is brilliantly narrated by Christine Lakin. The way she narrates the book is very creepy, and the way she does all of the different character voices, and there's a lot of characters to keep track of. She just does an amazing job. It's funny because she has such a soothing voice, yet the things that happen in this book are not very soothing, and they're very terrifying and scary for the main characters. But like I said, I'm a broken record. She did a great job. And the last audiobook I have to talk about would be The Grip of It by Jacques Jemk. Now, while I don't think I would put this book ahead of Imaginary Friend as just an overall book rating, I will say that the audiobook experience for this book is one of the best I've ever had. This is essentially a very short haunted house story, and it's very short, but it actually has like almost 100 chapters, and the way the book is written, you get a chapter from the husband, a chapter from the wife, and it flips back and forth. And for the audiobook, you get Amy McFadden to do the voice of the wife, and then you get Michael David Axtell to do the voice of the husband. And the way that they narrate their chapters and the way it keeps going back and forth, it can be very disorienting, which actually warrants well to a haunted house story because you feel very jarred and you're thinking like, what the hell is going on here? And I've probably said this before on my channel, but the scariest book I've ever read is Misery by Stephen King. But probably the creepiest book I've ever read is The Grip of It by Jacques Jemk. This book just gets under your skin and it's very dreadful, and you're very confused for a lot of the book. And it's, like I said, it's easily the creepiest book I've ever read. And the audiobook definitely helped in the creep factor. Alright, so those are all of the horror audiobooks I have to talk about here. Did I mention any of your favorites? Did I mention any that you don't like? What are your favorite horror audiobooks of all time? Let me know down in the comments below. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and have a terrific day.